Hi everyone. So I was at St Anne's until 1995, which is about 1,000 years ago. I read PPE, although as I get older I prefer to call it modern greats because it's just about the only thing about me that is modern anymore. After I left PPE, I qualified as a barrister, but I soon finished doing all of that and instead set up eventually a hedge fund and went into private equity as well. So those are the two key areas that I'm involved in. Don't switch off though. I have a role with the UK government and my title is Dealmaker within the Department for International Trade. So I continue doing my hedge fund and private equity part of my work alongside my government duties. And what I do as a deal maker is my job is to find the most outstanding technologies from around the world for the UK government and then do the deals to get those companies to the UK and to headquarter those companies here. And they've got to be technology companies which are solving some of the world's biggest problems. So they could be a carbon capture technology company that we've brought from India, for instance, to headquarter here in the UK and from the UK to go global. It's very fulfilling work because you're dealing with companies which are solving the world's biggest problems. You get to put on the Team GB shirt because you're representing your country around the world. I principally cover China, India, Southeast Asia, although I get a lot of technology companies out of Europe as well. There's a small team of us. We're about 15, I think, at the moment. And I've held that role since 2004, which was also the same year when I set up the asset management business. And I guess the reason the government had approached me is because before that, I'd managed to get something of a profile as a columnist in the Financial Times, had won various investment competitions on Bloomberg TV where I had a show and in the FT. And I've written several books. All of this had been planned and concocted, the investment part at least, whilst I was at St Anne's, that I would do that on the side as well as being a barrister. But in the end, not enough time, so I left the bar just to focus on the investment side of things. And I guess I'm what you might call an entrepreneur, that I'm pretty happy to have that title, and I can see more people doing that nowadays. But to some extent, I guess I've let down my college, because I remember when I was at university, we were told this is one of the rare occasions when you're going to be surrounded by so many people with such high IQs, possibly even have one-to-one tutorials with Nobel Prize winners. Whatever you do, don't go into the city and just shuffle paper, is what we were told. And guess what? Well, which is why it's important that I continue doing the work as deal maker for the government and the roles that I have doing those bigger purpose things and trying to help those companies grow to solve, as I say, the world's biggest problems. And they could be not just clean tech, but they're healthcare companies we're working with. They are companies in cybersecurity, for instance, and virtually every sector of technology which is solving a major problem. So at the moment, a lot of blockchain companies, because we want to trace, for instance, through one of the companies we're working with, want to trace what's the source of oil. Has it come from embargoed sources or not? Or what's the source of the clothes that are coming into the United Kingdom or wherever else this company's clients might be? We've got one company which produces algorithms to free up lending to SMEs, particularly women-led businesses, and make sure banks are doing more of that, for instance. So that's been incredibly fulfilling. I guess several of the things which were really important to me, well, I started writing in my final year at St Anne's. I started writing my first book, and this is not a book plug, because if any of you are aspiring authors, you'll know you'll get about £1 in royalties for every book sold, even if the book's been sold at a whopping £25. And over my shoulder, whoops, that shoulder, that's what an Oxford education doesn't know his shoulder from his other shoulder. There's about 18 odd books that I've written, and I guess that was a pinnacle as well for me. You might say I sort of peaked around the time I left St Anne's. The other aspects which are opportunities that St Anne's gave me was a congressional internship when I was there at college. Principal Ruth Deach endorsed me thanks to Dr. Nigel Ball's putting my name forward. And I worked in the US Congress for a semester, which was a phenomenal experience. And that really did motivate me to be more involved in politics and some of the governmental work that I do now. So it really dovetailed nicely into joining up the other dots in my life. You at college at the moment will be thinking about work, jobs, acquiring those skills and those networks to help you access those jobs. If I were to give any advice, and forgive me for doing so, I would say, well as making sure you have some fun, make sure you ace those exams and really knuckle down on doing that. But also, as you get older, you'll want things which are more fulfilling than just putting money on the table. And I guess to some extent, St. Anne's expects more from its students, given its heritage and its history in terms of promoting equality and open access. So those more purposeful roles will become more important to you. Of course, initially it's all about earning a good salary, but as I said, please have a think to what can you do which will have greater impact upon society and, well, as the saying goes, leave the world in a better place than you found it. It will be immensely satisfying. I'm not just simply virtue signaling here. I'm saying it will be immensely satisfying, and it will be good repayment back to college for the immense privilege you have of being part of both this college and this university. But it will also mean that when you get, well, if you've got any hair left at my age, I'm speaking to the men there, I guess, when you've got grey hair, and to the ladies, when you're my age, it'll be that much more fulfilling to be having something which has had greater purpose than beyond yourself. So like I said, and like I was told when I was at university, whatever you do, don't just spend the rest of your life shuffling paper in the city. Please think bigger than that. Please have the ambition for that. After all, you've got the privilege and the stepping stone for all of that. And if you can, try and do something for your country, if not the world. So hopefully that isn't, I don't think you can ever be too ambitious, actually, being from Oxford. But I hope that wasn't, well, I hope it wasn't patronising. Forgive me if it was. But I really do wish you all the very best. You're a very special, you're at a very special college and an incredibly special university. So I wish you all the best in the world. And I hope to be able to meet some of you. Do feel free to connect up with me on LinkedIn, and do always keep close connections and ties to this most wonderful college and the amazing things they're doing to make sure they reach every corner of not just the UK, but I guess the world, and get the best talent into college. So enjoy your time, and thank you for listening to this. Thank you.